everyone, welcome back to my channel, The Baking Diva. For those of you who watched my New Year's video with the cameraman, say hello, cameraman.
Hello, cameraman.
Thank you, cameraman.
You're welcome, Diva girl.
Anyway, what I did is I mentioned to all of you that for a few weeks in January, I was going to bring to you, as requested, some keto recipes. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with keto, keto is a plan where you have high fat, moderate protein, and very low carb. But you don't have to be on keto to enjoy these recipes. They're basically low carb recipes. So for those of you for the beginning of the year who made those resolutions to get healthier, lose some weight, eat low carb, these recipes are going to be for you. But like I said, they're for anybody because they're very good. So today, I didn't even know this. I just found out today, believe it or not, is National Keto Day. Did you know that, cameraman?
No, Diva.
I didn't know that either. I know it's crazy. I don't know who comes up with these things, but it's just coincidental that I'm bringing you this keto recipe on National Keto Day. So, cameraman, are you ready? Should we get started?
Let's get started.
Okay. Today, I'm making you a savory dish, not a sweet dish today. And I'm making you keto miniature meatloaf muffins. Do they sound good? I think so. Now, this recipe yields about 11 mini muffins. And I like it because if you don't eat them all, you can put them in the refrigerator. You can always warm them up in your microwave or whatever the next day. So what are you going to need? You're going to need to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And then you're going to need a muffin tin. So this is a muffin tin. This is a 12 cup muffin tin. And what I've done is, you want to grease it. I have sprayed it already with the non-stick cooking spray. What you're going to need next, and this recipe is super easy, you're going to need 1 pound of ground beef, which I have already put in this bowl. Now, God gave me hands, gave me fingers, and they're the best tool you can have. So I've washed my hands, and I'm going to use my hands for this recipe. I did take off my wedding ring, so if you use your hands and you have rings on, you're best to take them off. Anyway, so I have 1 pound of ground beef in here. Now, if you want to get really crazy keto, you can use the, the grass-fed beef, but this is the regular ground beef. And to the ground beef, I'm going to add 1 cup of chopped onions. And I will put the recipe in the description box for you. Next, I'm going to put in there an egg. So I've already cracked my eggs, my 1 egg, and I'm going to put that in. So we have the beef, the onions, and 1 egg. Next, we're going to put in, now this is the thing you most need to remember. This recipe calls for panko. Now, you've heard of panko breadcrumbs, but this recipe calls for panko pork. I've never heard of panko pork. It's panko pork breadcrumbs, but they're really a breadcrumb substitute. Well, let me tell you, they're not to be found in the stores. Yes, you can get them on Amazon, but they are super duper expensive. And it was ridiculous. That's how expensive they were. So I read about them, and actually what they are is, they are pork rinds. They're pork rinds that have been crushed up and maybe have a little seasoning in them. So most of the reviews I read from people that have used them said, save your money and just crush your pork rinds. So I went to the dollar store and I got a bag of pork rinds. The Dollar Tree always has them. And I put them in a Ziploc bag, took my rolling pin, and I crushed them very well. And they will work just fine with this recipe. In fact, you're going to see down the road that I'm going to bring you a few other recipes that have pork rinds in them. They're great for people that are on keto. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to add 1 cup of the crushed pork rinds into our meatloaf mixture. Now, I didn't use my Ninja because I didn't want to like pulverize them, but I did them with the rolling pin. They came out just the way I wanted them. Now I'm going to add to this 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. This is all great. It's a 1 bowl, 1 pan recipe. Very easy. So I put the onion powder in. Next, we're going to put 1/4 of a teaspoon of garlic powder. Okay, put that in. 1/4 of a teaspoon of Italian seasoning. Put that in. Now we're going to put a little bit of salt, and since these pork rinds are salted, it calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to put a little bit in. In fact, I'm not even going to measure it. I'm just going to sprinkle it. That's good. Pinch of salt. And then I'm going to put in 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. So most of these things are items that you already have in your home. The only thing you'd have to go out and probably get is the pork rinds, obviously your beef, and that's about it, really. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have everything in here, and I'm going to knead it together until it's all combined. Ooh, I don't like doing this. In fact, I actually took out my ground beef just a little bit earlier so it wouldn't be ice cold. There's nothing worse than when you take your ground beef out of the refrigerator and you go to do this and you got pains in your hands because the meat is so cold. So we're going to mix all of this together. Okay, now cameraman, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this all mixed together, and then when I get it all done, I'm going to come back and show everybody what you do next. So stay tuned. Alrighty, I have all my meatloaf mixture combined. And what you should do is you take your greased muffin pan and you put about 1/4 of a cup of mixture into each of these wells. My measuring cup, my 1/4 of a cup measuring cup, and I put my meatloaf mixture on a piece of wax paper. So I'm just gonna get 1/4 of a cup in here. Now it says that you should probably form it in the shape of a puck. So I'm sure they mean hockey puck, right, cameraman?
Right, Diva?
All right, so I'm gonna turn that out and put that in. So that's one. Let me get another one here. Put it in 1/4 of a cup. Shape it up and put it in. Here you go. Do a couple more for you, and then I'll show you what I do next. So I think this is a very simple recipe. 1 bowl to mix everything in, 1 tin to bake it in, and if it's only 1 or 2 people in the household, or even, well, maybe 3 or 4, you'll have maybe even some left over. You can have them the next day. So what you're going to do is after you put 1/4 of a cup of the meatloaf mixture in there, shaped like hockey pucks, now I'm going to take some ketchup. Now, I'm not using regular ketchup. You know, I don't know if many of you are aware, but ketchup has sugar in it. So there you go. What I did is I purchased a bottle of Trader Joe's organic ketchup. Now, it doesn't have to be Trader Joe's, but I'm using Trader Joe's. And if I look at this, Trader Joe's has only 3 grams of carbohydrates, no dietary fiber, and just 2 grams of sugar. So that's not bad at all. What we're going to do is we're going to take a half a tablespoon of the ketchup. We're going to put it on top of the meatloaves. Just spread it on top there, just like that. There you go. It looks good. You have the chopped onions in there. You have your crushed pork rinds and your spices and your egg. So I'm just going to do 4 now. I'll do the rest off camera. I'm going to put these in my 350 degree oven for just 15 minutes. And I'm going to check them to see if they're done. And when they are, I'm coming right back here to see all of you to do a taste testing. So stay tuned. I'm back. I took the little keto mini meatloaves out of the oven at exactly 15 minutes. I wanted to taste test one or see if it was done. So I cut it in half and it was done. But the cameraman and I prefer our meatloaves just a little bit more well done. So I put them back in and I put them in for 4 more minutes. So I'm going to take one out and do a taste testing now. Here we go. And it did make 11 of these little meatloaves. So you ready, cameraman?
I'm ready, Diva
I'm going
girl.
to dig into this. It's going to be our dinner tonight, and I'm actually having it with cauliflower, a gratin on top of it. Let me see. Oh yes, it's definitely done. Steaming hot inside. You know what I was thinking? This recipe doesn't call for it, but bacon is on keto. And I think, you could easily take a piece of, like a small piece of bacon and top each one of those with it before you put them in the oven. So I might do that next time. So let me give this a taste. It's hot, right out of the oven, so just give me a minute. You hungry, cameraman?
I'm starving. Go.
It's very good. You know what it tastes like?
Lobster tail?
Tastes exactly like meatloaf.
Oh.
No, I'm
wow.
serious. You can't tell that you put those pork rinds in here at all. You have the chopped onions in here. Tastes like meatloaf. So if you can make these and be on keto and be on low carb and enjoy them, then I give it a thumbs up. So if you enjoyed this keto recipe and you want to see some more, go down below and press the subscribe button and make a comment if you like, and give me a thumbs up. You know how much YouTube loves those thumbs up. And I intend to make these many more times. I love meatloaf. In fact, I love meatloaf cold in a sandwich. So I would have no problem whatsoever cutting one of these in half and making a nice sandwich out of it. So, like I said, if you want to see more recipes from the Diva, go hit that subscribe button. I hope you're all starting off the new year in the right way, and I will see you very soon. Cheers, toodles!